Hey everyone, thank you so much for attending tonight's class meeting. I appreciate your questions, your feedback, and just your perspectives in relation to descriptive statistics and descriptive analytics. And so with the Module 2 Week 3 assignment, what I was really looking for is your perspective, your approach to looking at data trends. That's why I put the questions that came together very broadly to just give you the opportunity to explore data. So for example, I'll share a little bit of opportunities which you can do. So there's a lot of times you can just go into data, go into your data analysis tool, and then just look at descriptive statistics. Select that and to say, I want to see a comparison between maybe these four different cities. And so I select the data, the first label was a row, and I want to look at summary statistics and we'll put it in a new worksheet. So I press OK. And then when I get the data, it gives me a comparison. And so when you can look at the numbers in comparison, you can look at the average, you can look at the number that's directly in the middle. Typically, when we look at prices, costs, salaries, looking at the median is actually a really good representation of that information. The mode is maybe if you're looking at a frequency of what is the most reoccurring number. And so those are the factors I really wanted you to look at. And then you can also look at what is the minimum data point and what is the maximum, so you can kind of understand the scale. And so the difference between those two variables is the range. So the data that ranges between these two numbers is this number right here. And so the total would be calculated here, and then the count of records would be this. And so we can compare San Diego, San Francisco, Denver, and just look at, are there any differences? Put that together in a description. You may put it this way, you could put it into a chart. There's just a variety of ways that you can really look at this data. So we'll look at another lens of this data. Now, sometimes the approach I like to take when exploring data is really saying, I don't know where to start. And because there's a lot of data sets here, just for the example purpose, I will just delete a few of these out. And then we can just look at a short summary to say analyze data. So I want to analyze this data. And so now when you're looking at the analysis tool, you can look at a variety of things where you can insert a pivot table, insert a chart, and better understand your data. And as you can see, there's upwards of 18 results. As you can see, what's the frequencies in Denver, what's happening by month to month difference, and what does that mean? Or so, for example, in comparative analysis, the Denver field has a much higher demand or a higher rate than the Washington, D.C. field. So those are just a variety of just summary statistics. And you can do those on your own as well. For example, if you want to insert and said, I'm interested in a data trend. So I'm just going to look at maybe Los Angeles in the data trend. And I just want to look at a bar chart. Then you can look at the trends over time. You can say, how do I better understand this data? Does the data table may not fit, or the data labels because it's just so much data. But really understanding as we look at this data for the last about 30 years, what is this data showing us? Where are the ups and downs? How are you interpreting that? And maybe saying, is this when the larger increase happened with the massive sales over time? You can look at a variety of also factors of how do I want to look at this chart? What's the most meaningful for me? Or do I want to look at a different layout to the chart? And you can look at quick layouts. You can look at just a variety of different aspects when comparing data. And that's the approach that I would like you to take when exploring data. You can take samples of the data, snippets of the information, or just look at just one aspect, for example, like condos or the national level or home prices. It's really just up to you what you would like to do. That's my whole approach, especially with this course being an entry-level course, is to let you exercise and test out different ways of looking at data. So I hope you all have a great night.